Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
I've already done a setup video of how to set up the game. So here we have the game set up, ready to go. I'm going to show you how to play the game by doing a round of the game. And you should be able to know how to play from that. So what we're using is the Hans the Butcher, the Campaign Betrayals, which I recommend for the first one. We got Laura with her health marker and all the cards set up. Our event deck over here tells us that the victim furthest from the killer, which will probably be this one right now, will be known as the damned. Whenever the killer must choose a target, he must go towards the damned. You can only save the damned if it's the last one saved, and if he gets to it, the bloodshed goes up too. So that's what we're doing over here for the event that came out for this game. The first thing you're going to do on a turn is just going to be the action phase. So you can use any cards that you have in your hand. Each card is going to have a time requirement. Now in the first round, these are all going to have a 0 time requirement. But later on in the game, you're going to be able to purchase ones that will have different time requirements. And we'll get to that in a second. So we can just kind of play our cards for what they do. So when the game starts, you're going to have 2 walk cards, which are simple, allow you to walk around. Focus, which is going to decrease the track up there, potentially to give you more dice. A small weak attack, and a short rest. So what we're going to do first is we're going to play a focus down. And what this is going to do is allow us to roll the dice. On this chart over here, if you're in the white, you're going to get 2 dice. If you get down here to the red, you're going to have 1 dice. If you go up here to the green, you're going to have 3 dice. And if it ever pushes off here, you're going to gain a time. If he ever gets pushed off this side, which is negative, the bloodshed will go up, which will make it harder it'll make it harder on the players, and he will have more movement and more attack as he progresses on. So what the focus is going to do, this little icon, is going to decrease this horror if I succeed. That's what I'm going to try to do, and I'm going to try to get up to the more dice. So I'm going to give this right here, and currently I have 2 dice. I'm going to set these aside, and I'm going to roll 2 dice. 5 and a 6 is an automatic hit. 1 or a 2 is a miss, but if I have 3 or 4, I can discard 2 cards from my hand. So I rolled a 5 and I rolled a 1. So I get 1 hit and 1 miss. I can't change that. So if you look here, this would be 2 successes, 1 success, and no successes. So I had 1 success, which means I'm going to move this down 1, and time is going to go down 1. So you always start out with 6 time unless you're playing the extra hard mode. So now I only have 5 time left. This will go into my discard pile, and I've utilized that card. Now, I want to try to play another focus card, and I'm going to try it again because I want to get that down into the green and get more dice. I think it's a good strategy at the beginning of the game. So I'm still going to be in the 2 dice section. Oh, I rolled a 5 and a 6, which is 2 successes. Now I go to the 2 success, which allows me to move this tracker down 1. So I'm getting close. But it also gains me 2 time, and that's good. Because anytime I don't use it at the end of the round, I'm going to be able to purchase cards with them. So that card is finished. Now, I'm looking down here on this board, if you can see it. I'm going to try to put it into focus just a little bit. And what this board's going to tell me is where these items are at. So these items are at certain locations on this board. So the knife is up at the cabin. So if I want to get the knife, I'd have to go over here to the cabins. If I want to get the lucky rabbit foot, it tells me it's right here in the utility shed. So what I'm going to try to do is walk around the board because I want to start trying to save some of these people and hopefully help out what I'm trying to do. Now, the goal of the game is to defeat Hans. I'm going to take all of his health away before he takes all of my health away. So I'm going to play a walk. Once again, if you look on the chart up here, I only have the 2 dice still because I haven't gone down. So I'm going to roll my 2 dice, a 6 and a 3. So those are the cards that I have. So I have 1 success. But I think I want to move 2 spaces. So I'm going to give up. You look here on the 3, once again, it has a symbol of 2 cards, which means I can dismiss 2 cards. I don't think I'm going to attack or rest this time. I'm already at full health, and I'm not going to be near the bad guy yet. So I'm going to discard these 2 cards to make this a success. So instead of having 1 success, I'm not going to have 2. It allows me to move up to 2 spaces and give up 1 time. So I'm going to move my time tracker down. 1 up there, and I'm going to move 2 spaces, and there's little markings on here. I want to move over into the dock because at some point I'm going to want to search over here and possibly get an item. So I'm going to discard this. I do have one more card left, but I'm kind of where I'm at, where I want to be, and I can't search. So I'm just going to hold on to this card in my hand. I do not have to use all of the cards that are in my hand. Now, if I did have a search card, which I don't yet, what I could do is search at this location, and I could take the card on the top and become an item that I would have. Now, if you look here at the top, I have a backpack up here. So if I were to get an item, I could put it in here or in my backpack if it doesn't require hands. You'll see on some of these, it does require a hand, which means it needs to go into my hand and not just my backpack. So if you look up here in the backpack, you can either do, if it's 2 hands there or 1, and you could have 2 items there. But I haven't searched yet. That's one item thing that I could possibly do. I could also save victims. And the way you're going to save victims is down here on this track down here. If I can zoom in just a little bit. You got to get them to these locations that have this door on it. If you get into that location with a door on it, you'll see one right here also. Then you can save these victims and they come off the board and not eligible to be murdered anymore by the bad guy. Now, if I'm in the same location as the killer, and let's say I had a card that would be like this with a Furious Strike. Let's say I had this card. I'm just rolling the dice like I did before. For 2 successes, I would hit him twice, and then I would move back on the tracker. I could hit him once, move back on the tracker, but my turn has to end immediately, or maybe I just take damage and don't hit him at all. So it's very easy. Everything in the game works kind of the same way. Now, there are some neat cards you can get, like the planning card here, which would allow you to get more dice for your next roll. That might be something you want to do if you're planning ahead. And of course, you're going to have some that maybe let you rest and regain health. So I have taken all my actions for the turn. I've given you an overview of what other actions may be available to you. Once you're done, you'll move into the planning stage. What this means is I'm going to look up here on my handy dandy chart here, and it will tell me how much time I have left. I have 6 time remaining. That means I can purchase cards that are up here based on how much time I have. So let's say, for example, I wanted to purchase this Critical Blow. I have 6 time. I could buy just this one card and it would go into my hand. Maybe I'd want to get that search, because remember on my next turn I'm probably going to want to search. Well, this would cost me 2 time. This would go back into my hand. So let's say I purchased this card for 2, and I'm going to move this down 2, leaving me 4 remainder time in order to purchase something. Well, another card I might want to get is let's see here, a close call, perhaps, because what a close call does, it allows me to re-roll dice. If I don't like one of my dice rolls, I could possibly re-roll it. So I'm going to buy that for 1 additional time. And then maybe I'll get another close call. I do like having cards that allow me to re-roll. That costs me another time. I have 2 time remaining. Now, if I don't spend my time, it's wasted. You know, just like in real life, you can't save your time. So I'm going to look for something with 2. There's a guard that would allow me to ignore wounds. I don't think he's going to quite get over to me at the dock right now. So I'm just going to get another search. It's always good to have another search. And that will be all of the time that I have. So I am done purchasing cards. Any of the cards I spent that turn will go back over here. And all the ones I spent were 0, so they go there. I can't use them again next turn. When we get back to the purchase ones, I can pick up all the 0s for free. So what I have in my hand for next round are the cards I purchased and the 1 card I did not use. And any cards I had used would now be replaced back up there for purchase in the next round. Then we're going to reset our time to 6. Every round you're going to have at least 6 time. Then we're going to come down here and resolve the killer action. So we'll come down to this board down here where Hans is at, and we will utilize his action. Now, the majority of these bad guys are going to have the same action. If they're in the location with a victim or the final girl, they're going to kill that person. As you can see, the killer is here by himself, so he's not going to kill anybody at this time, so that action will not occur. Now we will take the top card of the Terror deck, and we will do what it says. Minor Dark Power, Unholy Speed. Han moves 1 additional space for each boot. So this is like an ongoing power that he's going to have. So he's going to have 1 boot extra every time he moves, and 2 additional hearts. And once he takes the first 2 hits, this will go away. So he's a little bit quicker. We'll put this right here so we can always utilize his powers when he's moving. But the terror things, they might move people around the board. They might move the victim. So let me show you what a normal terror one will look like. Maybe something like this, where the timer moves up, and then he will move towards a victim or the final girl and then kill somebody at his location. So that's something that might occur there. And that's what's going to happen. So after those 10 happen, then this will be activated over here, the main power, and then the bad guy will go. So once that terror deck, which is 10 rounds, is up, then you'll be flipping this over, and he will do this every round. Well, he'll run after you for 2 and then kill 2 people. So he's going to get progressively harder if you don't take care of him early in the game. Now, every time he is able to kill somebody, he will be moving up on this bloodlust track, which this bloodlust track tells you how much he attacks, how much he can move, and when he will activate, when he gets up to this level right here, he will activate the bottom half of him, which is his dark power. And these are random every game you play. It says whenever Hans attacks you at least once, he attacks an additional time. So you can get pretty nasty if you let him to kill a bunch of victims. So as you continue to go up, if you ever get off the top, you have to do a second terror card each round. So that can be pretty brutal after some time. Now, there is a special rule that's going to occur. If he ever kills a victim, then you're going to roll the dice to move the other victim. So let's say he murdered this victim. Then I would roll the dice, 3, and there's numbers on this to tell you that this victim would run off into that location. The final girl would never run from the bad guy. So that's kind of how that's going to happen as the game progresses. And then you simply redo everything again. That's going to be a round of the game. You're going to continue to play your cards from your hand to take your actions and try to do what you want. Get items, save victims, and fight the bad guy. And then the bad guy, through the tarot deck or his finale cards over here, will begin to fight back and attack. You win if you kill Hans. Hans wins if he's able to take all of your health away. Now, there's a little neat mechanism that's also here. So when you get to the bottom and you lose all of your health, your last health will be a tile instead of a heart. And you'll flip this over and it will tell you if you have additional health. This one is blank, which means you just died. But some of them may give you additional health. Now, Hans's health is going to work the same way. His last piece of health will always give him, oh, his is blank too. But there's a chance they would have a couple health left. And that's kind of how the game is going to continue on as it progresses through. You're going to be buying more cards, utilizing those actions, hopefully more powerful actions. But everything is about using that resource of time. And that's how the game will progress. And that's a short overview of how you play the game.